Hey church girl and guys who watch this, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. For my regular tribe members, welcome back. It is just a pleasure to be here and to be vlogging and talking to you again like this, like a sit down chat. We haven't had one of these in a while. The one that I made last time was a little bit done, but I'm back. We're back on schedule. I'll be posting. Sometimes I'll post on a Friday night, but if it's not like a spiritual related vlog, if it's a lifestyle vlog or a lifestyle video like this, I'll post either on a Saturday or a Tuesday. So look out for that difference in the schedule. So for my new subscribers, new members, if you are just watching this video for the first time, welcome to the tribe. My name is Zhara-Marie, and here you find clean Christian content as we discuss things we just don't talk about in church. So for those who have been following any at all, I planned a wedding. I was planning a wedding. I'm now married. Your girl is a whole wife. Let me do a close-up. I've been married for a month now. We just went public about 2 days ago, but we've been married for a month. And I asked on Instagram about 2 weeks ago about wedding planning questions, and the list is long. So that's what we'll be talking about today. I'm a God girl, that's who I be, from the top of my head to the soles of my... We specifically decided to wait a little bit before we went public online. Hold on, the bike. Wait, the bike. So we never went public right away because it's a lot to live your life online, and just that moment and the weeks that we had to enjoy each other and to celebrate with our most immediate family and friends, that was really special to both of us. And the truth is, I've always said this, we sign up to be on social media, we sign up to kind of live our lives out in the public, but everybody else didn't sign up for that. And I appreciate the fact that we respected the moment and really what it meant without the pressures of being online. You get me? So anyways, let's get into the questions. I have them here on my phone, and we'll just be going through them one by one. I'll answer as many as possible. I don't want this video to be too long, but the wedding planning experience, man, guys, I love weddings. I really love weddings, and I love planning stuff. So it was a beautiful experience for me. I enjoyed it. Can't find a question. Hold on. So the first question we got is how to budget for a wedding. You don't just know how much money you have. I think maybe a good formula is to look at what are your immediate priorities, look at how much money you have coming in, what your income is, and how much you can save towards this event. I mean, it is what it is. So how you budget is going to be different for me versus how it's going to be for you, because we have different priorities. So check your priorities, know what you have down the line. Like, it doesn't make sense you have like a big budget when you don't have food on your table or you don't have anywhere to live. So all of those things you have to take it into consideration. Are you in school? Are you not in school? Are you working? Is your income able to carry the budget? Are you going to be getting help from family members? Stuff like that. So that's really the things that you have to consider. So your priorities. If you hear dog in the background, just ignorant. Because I'm just saying, this is how talk we talk. So it's not my dog, my dog always a barking in my video them, and I don't own any, because I don't really like animal like that. I want a puppy, like I want one of the little ones that are playful and jump, kiki, but like them big dog keep barking around them, don't want them. Anyways, focus. So priorities, where the source, where the income is coming from, and what you like, I think is how to budget. I don't know, you might find a more detailed explanation, but yeah, that's how to budget. The next question, amidst all the planning, what's one thing that you think about the most? Definitely the marriage, the transition, the living with man now. Like, remember saying, I was good at being single. And I'm an only child, so I was very used to being by myself a lot. So I thought about the transition and how that would look. The combination of two lifestyles, a combination of two thought processes. If anybody knows me, I know Xaundre. Xaundre is a neat freak. Like, I keep things pretty and clean for the most part. Like I'm about at 80%. Xaundre is super tired, and I just felt like You know, I was a little nervous about how we would, I mean, we've been around each other a lot, you know, so I kind of understand the nuances, but you know, see me on the video, two different something, so I thought a lot about that for sure, the combination and just how we would mesh. But one thing we kept as priority during the wedding planning is that we never left out God, and we kept on reminding ourselves that, hey, this wedding is just the beginning of forever. We should be praying and doubling up on the marriage, because that's what's important. You know, the wedding is an event, anybody can have an event, but having God as the foundation of a good marriage is what you need. So that's, we did a lot of that, a lot of praying, a lot of talking to God about it, a lot of reading and stuff together. Could you please provide wedding planners who are cost effective? I did not use a wedding planner, so I don't really think I can give you a list of like vendors and stuff, because I never used a planner. I had a planning committee because, as I said, we have planned weddings before. We plan each other wedding, you get me? I say you have to do when you're young, and you know, the wedding planning is a premium service. So as somebody who plans weddings, it's hard work, and when you have to execute somebody else's vision, it's not easy. It's a premium service, so you're gonna pay premium money for it, right? Especially if you're going to look out for any one of those popular pages, you're gonna have to pay a premium price. Pick up to my planning team, love you guys, they executed perfectly. And what Ashley as the head planner did was that everybody had separate parts and everybody had little duties that they were responsible for, so no one person felt overwhelmed. Well, I would hope so, because that was my intention. And another thing I've found is that if you target vendors who are in the rural areas, you might get a cheaper price. However, it might not be the style of wedding that you like, so there is a win-lose thing. Are you nervous about how your wedding day will turn out? Was I nervous? No, I wasn't nervous about the execution of the wedding itself. I was only nervous about the weather. I was a little nervous about the weather because it was scheduled to rain, and we in the mountains where it rains even when it's not scheduled to rain. So we got married in Irish Town, and so I was a little antsy about that, but other than that I was never nervous, not one bit, about how the execution of the event would go, because things will always go wrong. You cannot prevent things from going wrong. The rain was pouring, and I was pretty calm because I knew we were going to get married anyways. And you know, you go through all that planning, you spend all of that money, and then when the push comes to shove and like the rain is pouring, everything else vanishes. When I publish my wedding pictures, you'll see that the chairs that we got never had. They were supposed to have white cushions on them, and that was an upgrade. That was an upgrade, you know. The chairs were an upgrade. I never want to use the chivalry chairs. I wanted to use the rustic looking chairs. I had to pay more money for them, and then the cushion them never reached upon them because we rain falling with up all of the cushion them. And then you see that all of these things, they don't even matter anymore, because you really just want to go and marry the love of your life, and it doesn't matter if you're marrying the person in mud, in rain, whether the chair them upgrade, whether the napkin them I did pink or purple. Did you buy your partner a ring as well? Yes, he has a ring, multiple actually, because he has this ring. Matter of fact, Xaundre tell me which ring he want. There's like this black ring, I don't even know the material we'll make out of, but he wanted that specific ring, and then I got him silicone ring so that he could wear to work, and he's a doctor, so you know him hand can get in things, and you know him gonna leave him ring. So we gave him silicone, and then he loves water as well, so he has rings for the pack of ring from Amazon. The silicone ring is like for like $10. So somebody says, where do I start? Start with praying. The first thing to do when you're thinking about planning a wedding is to start with figuring out what your budget is and how many people you want to accommodate. So that's a good place to start. And as I said, when you're thinking about your budget, you think about how much you can put and if you're going to get help from anybody. So I got this question a lot: what was your budget? Multiple times actually. So the truth is, I don't know. I can't tell you. I really don't know, because we have a very good network, thankfully. And because we have a very good network, a lot of the things we don't know what the full prices were. We'll get enough discount. There was only one vendor in my wedding who I never knew personally, so I knew everybody else, and everybody else cut me a deal. If me never know them, Xaundre knew them. And so yeah, all of my vendors were people who I would have worked with previously, people who I know. So I have a very talented network, so I really don't know. And then also our parents helped out a lot. So yeah, I really don't know what our budget was. It was just pay the people them. And but I guess if I was supposed to value the wedding based on my experience in the wedding industry, our wedding could be valued between 10 and 15,000 US based on everything that we had, but we did not pay that, guys. So but I'd say, oh yeah, I have money. No, we don't have it, right? We don't have it. My sister always says stuff like this on a budget expensive wedding, because it was, if we were supposed to put a value to it, it would be around that, but we did not spend that. So thankfully we have good people on our side. Get good friends, guys. And you know, it's so interesting because most of the discounts that we got, we didn't ask for them. And it's so interesting, guys, because to be honest, when I approach everybody for work at my wedding, I approach them professionally, you know. Me never ask for no discount, me never beg. Me never ask for no discount. But it's just good to be a good person. Yeah, it's good to be a good person in the world. What excites you the most about the wedding? I tell you already, I love the pretty, I love the excitement, I love events. So I love putting on a show, I love putting on a party. Xaundre also loves hosting people. So it was a beautiful like months of excitement. And I love little details, so stuff like floral, stuff like decor, them things that excite me bad. What stuff do you try to purchase first? If you are a DIY bride, I think it's good to start purchasing the things as you go along, but venue is one of the first things to get off the bat, because after you get the venue, then you can start to decide what else you need to pay for and stuff like that. But after venue, I would say you can start, if you're going to do your decor yourself, you start getting your decorations here and there. Everybody who asks said they want to hear everything about the wedding planning. That's not a question. How mama just sit down and talk? Like, no, you have to ask me specific things, because that's too broad. How did you choose your vendors? Answer specifically photo and video first. So for photo and video first, I have done a lot of photo shoots with Hugh, who is my really good friend. Love how he takes pictures, love the quality of his stuff, just love working with him in general. And if I was going to give anybody my money, it would obviously be him. So I chose him because I really liked his work and he's my friend. So yeah. And for the other vendors, I choose people who I knew would do it very well. For decor, we did Rachel and her team, and I knew that they were going to come out. So like, I knew they were going to deliver, because she always delivers. I chose and Rachel is a friend that we met in Adfel. Hugh, I met in Adfel. Then for catering, we went with Annette's Catering, who is my friend Everton's mother. So Everton's mother owns a catering company that I've known about for years. She has owned the company for years. So Everton was a friend who I met way back when. Not so long, but when I was in sixth form, I got this scholarship, and we just became friends. And of course, working with him was wonderful. The food was phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. So go check out Annette's Catering. I knew that I wanted to reach out to him. Another thing, guys, is that you have to know yourself. So me, my palette, I want rice and peas and chicken and fish, and yeah. I never wanted the fancy stuff. Xaundre has a much more exposed palette than I do, so he's a little fancier on the food side. I am not. And I wanted to enjoy the food at my wedding, so I saw some of the high-end caterers, and they never appealed to me, because they never gonna serve ordinary food. I may not serve no food at my wedding that I can't eat. I want the regular food, just in a nicer way. You get me? Like, instead of fried chicken, I think they did like a grilled jerk, and there is vegetarian, and oh no, we never have vegan food, actually, because we only had one vegan person coming to the wedding, so we just get our own food. But you get me? Like, it was regular food, just in a fancier setting. It was a nice vibe. So that's how I chose my caterer. So the venue selection process is a long story, but let me cut it short. Long story cut short, because Xaundre proposed in the mountains, I was saying that even though we love the mountains so much, let us kind of change the aesthetic a little bit and go to the seaside. But the truth is, the seaside was not as authentic, and we felt like we needed to look for more. You know, I already had Creighton, which is where we got married. I had it on the list of venues that I liked from a long time. So anybody who know me knows say I'm very proactive. So I have a save folders of stuff that I like. Girlies, if you can relate, say yes, you can relate. So I'm gonna start say wedding dress a long time before I actually get proposed to. Okay, yeah, I wanna do that. So I've always been looking on Creighton. I was like, this is nice, it's a nice spot. Xaundre always says it's not high up enough for him because him love way up. You have to pass what the place Soldier Camp there, so go up Hollowell. That's where he loves the most. But then what happened is that all of the coast venues were just not up our alley with the expense. So the minimum for the coastal venues that we like, the minimum amount was like 1500 US but they had a lot of conditions, and as I said, the network large and we'd get enough things discounted. So a lot of places would say to us, you have to pay 1500 US or 2000 US or whatever to rent the venue, but you have to use our catering. If you don't use our caterer, it's another 800, and if you don't use our photographer, it's another. So a lot of these places that were on the coast had so many conditions that we felt a little restricted, and I brought every single vendor. I never used no vendor. I never used, well, the spot that we got never came with a vendor. It was just a spot. We had to even bring electricity to Creighton. We had to bring a generator. So to get married in the middle of nowhere, you have to think about all those things. So then it kind of narrowed down the search. We're like, we have to find somewhere that will just give us a spot so that we could bring in all of our vendors, and that became priority for us, and we headed back this side. And yeah, I love the venue. It's like it's a dream venue. It's beautiful, and it's not traditional. It's not something that you see all the time. And because we knew it's a windy road to go up there, and one of my friends' mother, like, she was telling her, hey, you know, say you need to tell them, say them need to get like a tea station so that when people come up from the widening road they could get some tea. So we did that, and I think it was pretty cute. So when you come up to the mountains, you could drink some tea to kind of sickle your stomach and eat one ice mint. So we had the ice right at the welcome table, so that was nice. But that's how we choose our venue. We thought about the aesthetic and wanting the aesthetic to be authentically us, and then we also thought about what were the vendor permissions. So do I need to pay to bring a vendor on and stuff like that. And also when you're thinking about a venue, you have to think about the people, how many people you want. So for our wedding, we couldn't just use a villa. The villas that I liked and the villas that could hold the amount of people who we wanted were way out of my reach. One thing you look forward to on your wedding day, one thing I looked forward to on the wedding day was actually my vows and exchanging those vows. I really looked forward to that, and of course leaving the wedding. So next question, do you plan to have all Christian music or plan to have an after party? We only had Christian music during our praise and worship, but other than that it was a wedding, so love song play. Yeah. Yeah, and we did have an after party. We did have a dancing and stuff afterwards. But what happened is that the wedding, because of the rain, the wedding was pushed down. So because of that, we never danced as much as we wanted to, plus we were tired. So, but yeah, we did have a DJ and everything. What was most important to you both when structuring your budget, and who ran points on this aspect? So when it came to money and spending money for the wedding, it was all Xaundre. He did all the money stuff. There are some things that were very important to us. The venue meant a lot to Xaundre, and the food. So it meant a lot to make sure that the food was good and the venue was good. And for the food, in addition to like the regular dish that you have, the regular meal or cocktail hour, we had like cocktails, and we had like a s'more station, and we had a coconut stand, and we had a popcorn machine, plus like fruit kebabs and chicken wings. And because it was very important to Xaundre that people who were there were not hungry, even during the time when we were taking pictures, and then there were games for them to play, and then there was a live band for music. So there was a lot going on in the cocktail hour, and that was very important to him to have all of those things happening. For me, decor meant a lot, so I wanted the place to look good because I want the pictures to look good, because pictures and videos mean a lot to me. Because the truth is, when it's all said and done, that's all you'll have. Not even the food. We're not even gonna remember what the food tastes like, because the pictures and the videos are what you'll have. So I wanted the place to look good, and yeah, so those were top priority for me, for us. So I think for us it was more about the overall experience than the little things. things to consider when selecting your bridesmaids and how many persons to invite physically. Let's tackle this two-part question, alright? When it came to selecting bridesmaids, I thought about the ladies who were closest to me, the people who were married and died. And that wasn't hard for me at all, because there were only 2 other girls who I would have wanted to choose and them eliminate themselves because they are foreign, and Gina Alice on herself. So for me, I've had the same friends since high school. So I never really had to think about it much. And yeah, since high school and first year at university, so yeah, it never hard. And then I knew also that I never wanted a big bridal party, because the bigger it is, the more confusion and more chaos. So I wanted it to be small and intimate, and yeah. But if I was going to give advice, you think about the people who would literally do anything for you, because bridesmaids have to spend money on a dress, them have to comb them hair, them have to spend money to get ready for the wedding, them have to put on a shower. Not have to, but they're expected to do all those things. They're expected to support you even when them life I go through stuff. So it has to be a real friend. So think about your real friends. One of the biggest mistakes I see brides make is they have people as their bridesmaids because they feel obligated to. You're not obligated to anybody. Or the only person you're obligated to is God, and of course your partner, but you're not obligated to anybody. So don't choose somebody because you feel obligated to because of your sister or your cousin. The next question is how do you decide how many persons to invite physically? Depends on your budget. It depends on your budget, and I have a list that I posted on Instagram, and I'm going to read out what I used to create my guest list. 1, have we had a close relationship in the past year? And when I say close relationship, I mean, do you know us? Are you invested in our relationship? Have you called me to find out if I'm okay? Do you know what's happening in my life? Are you an integral part of my daily life in the past year? Then if you are, then you might fall on the list. Next thing, are you in our call log as a contact we speak to frequently? It's not a family reunion, it's a gathering, it's a wedding. So when at the family reunion time, then everybody can come. If our marriage faces trials in the future, will we be able to rely on your support? And I put that in because if I'm going to invite you to our wedding to be a witness, then it must mean that you can stand as support through the marriage, because as I said, the wedding is just the beginning. So we thought about people who would be beneficial to the marriage, and the people who are in our lives that will be beneficial to our marriage going forward are the people who we want to celebrate our wedding. And the truth is, Xaundre and I have been together for a long time, so there's a high probability that we already know the people who are in our lives currently who will be beneficial to our marriage, because they would have already been beneficial to our relationship. And that was really what we used to make our guest list, even the virtual guest list. Our virtual guests, because we did have a stream, but it still wasn't a stream that was open to the public, because we wanted it to be special to the people who were not going to be there in person. We wanted them to feel as if you are thought about just as much as the people in person. If we did have money, we know that come, but actually we don't have it. Tips about dress shopping, renting locally, and the budget and price range of weddings. Okay, so as it relates to dress, believe it or not, dress was not on my list of priorities. For some people it might be, but for me it wasn't. I wanted the dress to be nice, but I never wanted it to be custom made. I wasn't very big on going to foreign, and I was never big on that. I've always known that I wanted to rent my dress as well, because when we go after, when the wedding done, me can't wear the dress at supermarket, no. But for me, because I use all real flowers for my wedding, and I know for some people they might say, when the wedding done, the flowers are dead, but that was important to me, right? So the dress was not important like that. So I rented from Bliss Bridal, but what we did was we did our purchase to rent. It's a little bit more expensive because you purchase it for them to rent it, so it goes a little bit more than their rental prices, but then they kind of get the luxury of being the first person to wear it, and then it gets altered to your body and everything. And for those who saw my dress, it was snatched. Okay, it was snatched. But yeah, I love that they had that option. The tips about wedding shopping is: 1, know what you're looking for. have a general idea of a shape that you like, but also try shapes that you don't think you will like, because it's always very good to kind of come out of your comfort zone to see what gives. As well, so whether or not you go abroad to do it, Bliss Bridal has really nice designer dresses. I would save the fare unless you have it. You see, if you have it, let me tell you now, guys, you see, if you don't have the money for a wedding, please spend it. It's once in a lifetime. I love a good splurge that makes sense for people. I love when people spend the money on what's important. So if you can genuinely afford to go overseas and do the whole say yes to the dress incline feel, and that's what you love, I'm all for it. I'm not going to be the one to say, oh no, not this a channel here. I'm, guys, you know, girl must fix up, and girl must take care of themselves. So if you can afford it, fine. But if you don't want, if you can't afford it, it's okay. Bliss Bridal, Helen G Bridal, Petals and Promises, or something like that, I don't remember their name, are three that have rentals and purchases. That Bliss, I think for me, I found Bliss to be the most pleasant to work with. And if there's a dress that if they have a design that they carry, and there's a dress that their designer carries that they don't have in stock, you can go ahead and ask them to order it for you. So I love that option. So you don't have to go on a foreign, and it comes shipped right into the country, and their rental starts at about 70,000, goes up to about 120 thereabout, based on what you like, the budget and price range of weddings. As I said, it depends on what you like, and it depends on the amount of people who you want. You can get a wedding for as low as maybe 200, 300,000 if you like fake flowers, if you want to do stuff yourself, if you have a very small guest list. If you're going to use real flowers and you want to hire help, you're looking at between 600,000 to $1 million. Where we our wedding was a blank slate. The first decor budget I had, when I just tell her everything I want without any thinking about cutting costs, was 11,000 US. You hear me, sir? When you hear me? Yeah, convert it. Yeah, man, convert it. Decor alone. So when she sent me, I said, no, babes. Wrong wedding. So then no, I had to sit down with her, and we went through and we slash it. When I say we take off until they went all the way down. So yeah, you have to understand what's important to you. Really and truly, you have to understand your tastes. And sometimes I had a period in the wedding planning, I have to say this, where I kind of felt like I was watering down what I wanted, you know, and I felt maybe kind of sad, because my flower arrangements were very full, but I wanted them bigger. I wanted more flowers, I wanted more lights. Now looking back, I was like, I'm glad we never got all of those. But because I was ready for business. You just said we need to fix that money there, because it can't be that. But the dream that I thought I wanted, I had to really pull it back when I saw the numbers. And that's just something that you'll have to do. Sometimes you see these lavish weddings online and stuff, they're running easily 20,000 US, because what happens is that the wedding industry in the US is expensive, and to have a wedding in the US, you're spending $35,000. Now tourists can come to the Caribbean, to islands like Jamaica, and they can get their dream wedding for like 15,000, 16,000, which is a dramatic difference from 30,000. You feel me? So a lot of the lavish weddings that you see are targeted towards tourists, not locals, because most of these wedding vendors, them quote in the US. You hear me tell you? And their target audience is not us. But there are ways to cut it. So ways like, we used a lot of tropical greenery instead of the greenery what me did want. Because me did want, you know, the nice mixed greens them. Right now they don't even matter right now, but eucalyptus, and I wanted all those, but those were so expensive. So we had a lot of tropical greenery mixed in, and instead of having like a full arch, we had a half arch, and instead of having straight roses, we mixed some cheaper flowers to get that full effect. So there are ways to cut around it, but just to give you a general idea of what a budget will look like, as I said, anything under 500,000, you're doing it yourself. You're buying things off Amazon, a lot of fake flower, a lot of sweat equity from you, which you just have to decide if you want to be that bride. What's the most expensive expense, catering, decor, or location. For us, it was definitely decor, and it was because our decor person covered everything for us. We never had to go out and rent chairs or the tent I'm tell you about or anything. We just kind of, yeah, she did everything. So decor was definitely our highest bill. But no, it wasn't 11,000. Cut all the way down. All the way down. What are some moments throughout your wedding planning that surprised you? What are some moments throughout your wedding planning that surprised you? I think how involved Xaundre was really surprised me. I kind of expected him to say, well, you know, you'll figure it out, but he was actually very involved. He wanted to know stuff, you know. He was willing to sit down with and talk about stuff that I never think he came to the wedding planning meetings when he could and stuff. So that was surprising. I mean, he's a guy and he's not very big on the pretty, but this apparently meant a lot to him. But I mean, yeah, so that surprised me. But all in all, when it comes to weddings, one of the biggest pieces of advice I have is to be authentically you. At the end of the day, so something like, as I mentioned before, we never had fruit cake. We had pistachio cake and coconut cake, and we don't like fruit cake. That wouldn't be us. We never printed programs, we never printed invitations, we did everything electronically, you know. So just some little things. We had a coconut stand, for crying out loud. We had my friend doing chopping coconut. So just do stuff that make you and your partner happy and comfortable. Don't do what you think will be important to other people and what will look good to other people. Yes, thank you so much for your questions. Thank you for sitting down and this is a chit chat and listening to me. If you've reached thus far, please remember to like, share the video, man. Yeah, man. And for those who aren't subscribed, it's about time you join the tribe. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.